too stubborn for their own good sometimes and won't adapt to the strategy. They'll always bring like a specific type of lineup. But now we can see Hunterace stepping into a new form in the mid-season of 2018 by being able to adapt to quite the varied mixed lineup.
Yeah, and if you, in case you have just joined us, if you've
All right, with the game number 1 being Odd Paladin and Mirror, we do want to make a passing comment that we didn't really talk much about with the bans. Both Druids have been banned, but they're not playing the same one. Hunterace with the Malagos Druid, SamuelTsao with the Token Druid, and both tend to do pretty well against the field here. Malagos Druid is just touted by several people as potentially being one of the meta breakers of 11.2 and onwards, primarily because it's good against aggro with so many good defensive tools. It's good against control. Even has a lot of power against those mid-range decks as well. So, you know, Hunterace looks like the difference will just be the even Shaman versus the mid-range Hunter. Let's go ahead and talk about the Odd Paladin Mirror. SamuelTsao does not have double one drop, and he's kind of have an awkward hand here.
Yeah, and Hunterace has Diamole as well. This is the nuts opener when you're going first. You get that 1-3 down, and then over the course of the next couple of turns, you get so much equity out of that 3 health. Just being able to incrementally, turn by turn, you just essentially swing 1-1 of stats on the board. And that means over the course of the first 3 turns, you then get 2-2 or 3-3 ahead on the board just through the merit of this 1-3 minion.
Right. And, you know, the saving grace of a lot of these Paladin decks, or sorry, specifically with Odd Paladin, is that you often want to get that early game board and hero power as much as you can, but you want to take that coin to put out double one drop so you can get ahead of your opponent. That is the only thing that you get as an advantage going second, is getting a coin and an extra card, and SamuelTsao already lost that ability to capitalize.
Yeah. Now already it becomes a question of card economy versus tempo, because the Firefly plus the Flame Elemental here can test this board state a whole lot better than just pressing hero power does.
Move quickly.
SamuelTsao is just going to take it slow for now, though.
Yeah, there's one thing that has always been a big part ever since Kobolds and Catacombs drop is the Quarter Creeper board swing, and I think SamuelTsao can potentially utilize that as a way to win the board convincingly against Hunterace if Hunterace doesn't, cement things by turn 5, which is often the pivotal turn for Odd Paladin.
There you go. See what we're talking about, the power of that 1-3. A Squire goes down, a 1-1 goes down, and the Mole is still hanging around to take care of another set of 1-1s on the following turn. And Hunterace just lost in the jungle hero power, and he has fully dominated this board before turn 3.
Yeah, and a lot of his tools are board leverage tools. Level Up, Raid Leader, Fungalmancer all kind of do similar things in pushing damage or cementing an existing board. SamuelTsao's only course of action to fight back right now is Quarter Creeper, Fireflies, and his hero power. And he can't really mix and match them very cleanly. But he can save Quarter Creeper for, say, a Fungalmancer turn. So there is a little, solace in SamuelTsao having opportunities to fill out his mana curve. It's just that, is it too slow against what Hunterace develops against him?
SamuelTsao really deep in the tank on this one. You see his eyes flicking around from left to right. He's trying to imagine what scenario pulls him back onto this board. I think it's fairly straightforward here.
There's a fair amount of fatigue that also comes into play as well. SamuelTsao did not really get much time between the semifinals and the finals.
It's very true.
And these have been long days. Some players from the APAC groups finished their matches, like past midnight on day number 1.
Yep.
So it's just kind of a very grueling tournament for some of these players. Hope SamuelTsao can kind of stay focused, but this is looking very bad for our Taiwanese player.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because plus attack in this spot for Hunterace is actually potentially the weakest Maul outside of the Taunt one, because he still really does have to think about respecting these 1-1s, and if he does that, yeah, his plus attack is doing very little in comparison to Divine Shield or summoning 2 additional 1-1s alongside some of the other options that he could have had.
Oh man, Quarter Creeper is free. SamuelTsao tries to fight back, and it's not really, again, about the attack, like you said. It's really about how you're just basically at the mercy of the attacker's advantage.
Yeah.
Double Fungalmancer. So one Fungalmancer is certainly coming down. And I guess we just clears our opponent's board.
Does it have to be a Fungalmancer turn? You can go really wide still. Just Glacial Shard the Corridor Creeper and deal with it on the next turn. I guess there's no harm in it. I always like, in this mirror, an alarm bell goes off in my head when you're not making like the widest play that you possibly can on any given turn, because that's very often the correct one. But yeah, still 4 minions to 0. You get to value trade everything. It's extremely hard to turn that one down. And SamuelTsao says, yeah, fair enough. Let's not keep everyone waiting any longer. You got me on that one. Paladin Mirror goes to Hunterace.
Yeah, and Hunter versus Odd Paladin is, not a good matchup on paper for the Hunter, considering that you can't really deal with the tokens traditionally as well as a lot of the other decks, but Unleash the Hounds is one of those cards that you can utilize. So Hunter is just the full keep. Wants to keep tracking so that he could maybe look for the card to buff Spellstone, like Explosive Traps, and then has Unleash the Hounds to answer a wide board, and then it's going to be pretty much all in on the Spellstone.
Right.
From turn 5 onwards.
Yeah, you saw him as we joined his player cam. He was just head down, essentially on the desk, really trying to think through that mulligan process. And there's so many reasons why that's such a tough decision. And I was going to say, the big reason why that 3 keep is scary is because you have Diamole in your deck. And you saw what Diamole did in the previous game against Odd Paladin. But that is the best of both worlds for Hunterace. He got to keep an explosive hand, as you described how that could play out, and then nails Hans Moleman off the top.
He only has 2 one-mana minions, and they're both Dire Moles. Yeah. So he's like, well, the odds are that I'm not going to be able to get it. Ends up keeping tracking, gets Dire Mole off, and you saw his reaction visibly in the camera as well. He was owing a long rest of the crowd, the casters. And SamuelTsao, of course, not happy to see that, but he's got some sticky minions here with the Divine Shields. And as the Odd Paladin, you often look at an opportunity to coin hero power, or sorry, coin double one into hero power. So this seems to be a very solid play in response from SamuelTsao. Oh, are you serious? Is this the Tavern Brawl where you just draw every mana curve play possible? Turn 1, you get the Mana Worm. Turn 2, you get the Arcanologist. Turn 3, you get the Kirin Tormage. What?
Attacking first here, yeah, there's no impact that you can get from attacking second. Plus attack doesn't matter, +1/+1 doesn't matter. So this Wind Fury's still fine. This gives you better stealth, gives you better Divine Shield. And it looks like, yeah, just a +1/+1 is going to be the answer here for Hunterace.
Wow. I don't know, man. Every time I've seen Hunterace play this Hunter deck, it's just, it has a connection. Perhaps it's the fact that he's being rewarded for the meta call. Perhaps the fact that his name includes the class that he's playing right now.
Yeah.
But some way, somehow, he keeps drawing Dire Mole, clacking Laser Maw. And there's nothing to be ashamed about that, you know? You just let it rip.
Right. Yeah, I think I finally deciphered the name. It's when he plays Hunter, he has his aces hidden up his sleeve. That's what the name means.
Hey, I like it. Well, you deciphered that. Can you decipher what me and TJ have been theorizing as what this name of this deck is called besides Midrange Hunter? Because TJ's convinced that it's called Spell Hunter with a few minions.
It's Spell Hunter with minions, yeah.
Yeah, so I call it Minion Spell Hunter, right?
Minion Spell, sure. Yeah, we can go with that.
But then TJ started mocking me. He's like, oh, so it's Minion Spell Weapon Death Knight Hunter. And I'm like, well, yeah, so when we post deck lists, it's Hunterace's Minion Spell Weapon Death Knight Hunter deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense
so
to me.
You agree?
No, I'm on board.
Great.
Fully. Let's do it.
Coming
soon to a NetDeck site near you. A URL too long to copy paste.
That's right. The deck code won't fit the title of the deck appropriately. Unleash the Hounds. Gets him ahead on board. Even though it's not for the maximum value. Hunterace, starting from turn 5 onwards, is not going to be caring about responding to the board. He's going to be caring about pressing in for damage. Oh!
Is someone down there just already carving Hunterace's name into this trophy? Because everything
Yeah.
is coming up Millhouse right now.
Story of missed connections for SamuelTsao. Oof. All right, so how does Samuel navigate around something like this? He has Righteous Protector to kind of soften up the board a little bit. Lost in the Jungle plus Hero Power's maximum damage. His opponent using Legion of Hounds, which is actually nice insurance to go wider on the board again.
Yeah.
And the big thing that he's focusing on is his own level 5. Level up. There'll be a level up versus the Spellstone kind of battle.
Reporting for duty. Job done.
I like it. So set up recruits now. Righteous Protector to protect your 1/1s into level up.
Tracking comes out here, and now if a secret is offered, which it isn't, the dilemma of board development with the secret, board development with the Bear Shark versus future board development with the secret would have been a tough one, because getting an extra minion down on board now would be very valuable. But nothing here really looks too appealing. Houndmaster, you're just about to lose your grip on the board, so Houndmaster is the weakest it's been at any point. Kill Command, likewise. Spellstone, you already have one copy unbuffed in your hand, so how long will it be until you play 2 of these copies out of your hand?
Yeah, even if you get the Spellstone, you're most likely just summoning 2 3/3s both ways, because those are your best plays on the board. If you draw a secret, you just don't have the mana to play it.
Right.
Hunterace feels like this is going to be a fight for board dominance. Bear Shark is definitely a little bit of a force to be reckoned with. Paladin scoff at the idea of, you know, a 4/3 challenging anything, especially in the eyes of Sunfury Protector.
This is a Corridor Creeper plus a Hero Power this turn, if that's what SamuelTsao wants.
Has the ability to Hero Power and play the Righteous Protector as well if he trades in the other Silverhand Recruit on board.
Sure.
I think SamuelTsao is most interested in just his level up straight up.
Fair enough. Can't argue too much with that.
SamuelTsao just gonna wipe Hunterace despite him just kind of having the perfect 1-2 combo.
It's looking that way. Shows that this is just a really, really bad matchup for the Hunter, because even with that perfect start that Hunterace got, and even with a hand that he 3-kept, which didn't include any of those cards that we're calling a perfect start, it's still not looking like it was good enough. Really, just because he whiffed on a secret from the tracking, that could be the big difference.
He can actually answer though. If SamuelTsao reps the level up and just go ahead and goes face, Hunterace will stabilize.
Yeah.
And then SamuelTsao's best play on the following turn is Quarter Creeper Hero Power. This double Vine Cleaver is pretty redundant and actually a terrible draw for SamuelTsao in the immediate. Might be great if he ends up being able to use all 6 charges, but I think the game will be determined by then. The only way that this is a punish is if your opponent has Houndmaster. And SamuelTsao knows where the place is.
2 attacks are going face, then 4 are going face. The only merit I see is to clearing all 3 of them, and then even then, I'm really just not on board. I don't get it.
Oh, he wants to play Quarter Creeper if he trades.
Sure.
But then he's completely bare the next turn. Actually, this is good because it stops his opponent from being able to weapon and develop behind it.
Single copy. One of them was tracked over as well, the Houndmaster.
Right, but not enough mana. I actually really like that Quarter Creeper play because SamuelTsao recognized that turn 6 is going to be pretty dead anyway, so he wants to front load his pressure as much as he can and then kind of like hope that he draws something pretty well, and if not, then not play Quarter Creeper reactively where opponent can answer it as opposed to him getting to dictate the trades.
There's 3 viable options this turn. I think Bow, Flanking Strike, and Houndmaster all have their own relative merits in this spot.
I mean, you can even make a case for Spellstone to just try to get
you're not wrong, actually. They were all viable.
All viable, but I think the upside of drawing a secret is too good to pass up. Acker's Veteran gives him the trade. But it's pretty bad, all things considering. This was a very weak turn from SamuelTsao.
It was, yeah.
Oh, now we're talking. And Wandering Monster has some very spicy targets that can be created. There's a lot of meaty 3-drops. We're talking about King Mooklin or Blade Master. And then there's also 1/1s with Giant Rat. So how does that secret change things? Hunterace has, let's see, he has Explosive Traps, which is the one he's most scared of, Freezing Trap, Venom Strike Trap, and then Wandering Monsters. The Freezing and the Venom Strike are one of, so the most common ones are Wandering Monsters and Explosive Traps.
Right.
And it was, you know, top decked.
So freezing just really isn't a big deal here. It's essentially a non-factor into your considerations, aside from just attacking with something that will cost you 1. So then you just have to consider the implications of Venom Strike versus the implications of Wandering Monster, because Explosive Trap really, 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 really sucks here if you're SamuelTsao.
I don't think you emphasized that enough.
Okay. One more, really sucks.
Ah, gotcha. I feel like I got a good feeling on that now. Do you activate the trap, or do you just hold?
I think you just have to wait it out, yeah.
Oh, man. And Venom Strike Trap comes into the hand. Hunterace also has this ability to just bow and maybe be aggressive, because eventually the Paladin has to attack. And Equal Horn Bow Secrets has been carrying mid-range hunters since 2013 in the beta when we broadcasted some tournaments. Is it going to be here for Hunterace for game number 2?
I'm scared for SamuelTsao.
I know.
As I said, coming into this, he made some plays early on in the tournament in his quarterfinal matches that just showed a little bit of a timid tendency. But now, this is much better from him. He looks like he's able to get over the line here. Recognizes that the threat of Explosive Trap actually not too bad in this spot. He can immediately reload behind it. He's just going to give Hunterace a lot of damage on that Eagle Horn Bow and a lot of board presence as well with the sequence of traps going off. Such a great combination, Wandering Monster and Venom Strike down at the same time.
Yeah. Venom Strike Track is a secret that not many people talk about, excuse me. But, you know, in so many situations, I feel like the traps from Hunter have been very inconvenient when you tech in that one of. I've seen Rat Trap last weekend at DreamHack do a lot of work, and then this weekend, Venom Strike Trap has been impressive. All right, well, unfortunately, you don't get the luxury of just trying to go all face because you're staring at lethal.
Yeah. Just dead on the board. That's a very, very bad draw for Hunterace. And yeah, much like the previous game, Hunterace immediately recognizes that the game is unwinnable from that position. SamuelTsao is going to square it. Trophies on 2 different occasions already. 2 second places at Torstots under his belt. He does not want to feel that trophy slip through his grasp and into the ever-waiting hands of SamuelTsao.
Hunterace not satisfied having cracking Razor Maw without any beast guarantee. Ends up pitching it. SamuelTsao, very aggressive hand opportunity here. Not sure if... Actually, you can make a case for holding on to a lot of these cards, but SI7 Agent also is very reactive. I think I want a more proactive 3-mana card, Vicious Fledgling, Hench Clan Thug. But I'm not even upset about, like, you know, Dire Maul and Cold Blood of some capacity. It's just that it doesn't line up really nicely. Ends up throwing the Cold Blood away.
Ooh. Edwin Van Cleef on the coin, never too sad a sight. Especially with all those 1-drops in his hand and still plenty more available to draw. Hunterace turn 1 tracks. He knows what he wants.
Spellstone. Does not get it. Has Bear Shark and Eagle Horn Bow as 3-mana plays after a Wandering Monster, or it could be very cheeky and played double Wandering Monster. Stop 2 attacks, keep his life total in check, and summon a random minion.
Yeah, both make sense. I think you mentioned your opponent is going to be mulliganing, looking for those Vicious Fledgling and Hench Clan Thug type plays. Eaglehorn Bow is your check to those, so...
Yeah, and Samuel recognizes that, you know, the most important thing that he ends up wanting to do is to utilize his board. He can't just be all in from the get-go. Hunter does have decent removal tools with things like Flanking Strike and bows. So the Wandering Monster here, it's not actually as it's not as consistent as you'd like it to be in terms of a 3 health minion, because Wandering Monster's average stat line is actually 2 attack.
Because of that, I feel like I've said it every game so far, but just Diamol just makes such a huge difference over every other 1-drop.
Well, we had this conversation last time we cast Auto of just how aggro players haven't been getting much in the recent expansions. It definitely feel like the past 2 metas that we've experienced from Kobolds and Witchwood have been the slowest metas in Hearthstone history.
Yeah.
And aggro doesn't really have that many tools. In fact, they've just been getting nerfed. And Dire Maul is just like one of the cards where people celebrate. It's so plain and vanilla, but ends up being so valuable in many ways. The way it pairs with things like Cold Blood and how it interacts with like Paladin hero power. Here we go. What's behind the door?
Ooh, yes. Hunterace fans love to see that one.
You're a Hunterace fan.
I am, and I love to see that one.
All right. Well, Hunterace doesn't have very much to do this turn. Set up the bow, pass to your opponent, try to see if you can react to what he does. And the nice thing is that he should be able to address almost anything that comes out. The worst case scenario is Hench Clan Thug, because it's 4 health that is the break point.
Oh, what an optimist you are, Frodan. The worst case is an Edwin Van Cleef. That's a 6 health.
You're right, you're right. The Van Cleef, now that I look at it.
It's actually, like, from SamuelTsao perspective, though, are you scared of the Edwin? Like, for the same reason we're talking about it is worst case scenario, because Hunterace has to take max damage swinging into it with the Eaglehorn Bow, right? That's basically the break point. But still, the situation for SamuelTsao is the same. You lose your Edwin to a flanking strike.
Yes.
Is that a situation you're happy with?
No. you're a deck that really loves to leverage the board. You have Fungal Mancer, you have Cold Bloods. You'd much prefer to have his Edwin stick. You're also behind on board, so you have to use SI7 agent on a minion instead of being aggressive. But I guess there wasn't really much play anyways, given his hand texture.
Hand texture.
Admirable wanted to do the final, so I figured just slap into admirableisms.
That's the admirable tribute act just coming out.
Yeah. He's giggling, but it's because TJ made a joke. He's not actually laughing along with us.
I think if at any given point, if Admirable is giggling, it's a pretty safe bet that it's because TJ made a joke.
So what's stopping us from playing SI7 Agent here? Does he just not want to take the damage,
Just Eaglehorn Bow, I think. Just that staring back, just a 3-3 being developed into it is just kind of such a scary proposition. You know, SI7 is supposed to be one of your big tempo swings in these kind of matchups, and you gain really 0 tempo from it because it just gets slapped immediately by that Eaglehorn.
Yeah, but if you use the... Like, say you play small minions and use the weapon instead, then Captain Greenskin gets worse.
It's true. He does both.
Okay, so he does both, and now he's setting up for Cobalt Scalebane. Makes sense why he plays Argent Squire. Ooh, interesting.
Flanking Strike number 2 versus Explosive Trap here. Explosive Trap can really prevent a Cobalt Scalebane really having a big impact next turn, because the minion it buffs really won't be able to attack very well, even if it lands on the Squire. At the end of the turn, it's softened up then for Unleash the Hounds on the follow-up.
Yeah, but then your opponent played Argent Squire, so you're most scared of Fungal Mancer in this
That's
position.
true, yeah.
Fungal Mancer means that Explosive Trap will literally do nothing. Well, that's not true. That's the improper use of literally. It won't do much.
Unfortunately,
It's
for
the
fans of the English
it's
language,
British use of literally.
that improper use of literally was added to the dictionary. So you just can't even dispute it anymore, and it's the most tilting
Why?
thing in the world. It's
Why do you guys say-
literally the most tilting thing in the world.
Literally. God. You guys are funny. All right, so Hunterace says you gotta have it. I'm not gonna give my opponent optimal usage of it anyways. And also, it has, you know, the mix-up again. You know, is this a wandering monster? Is it a freezing trap?
The mix-up. Don't they
Yeah.
call them guessies where you come from, Dan?
Mind guessies? What? Did I grow up on the street down from you, Subtle? The guessies?
All right, it's a trolling Smash players thing. I thought you'd be aware of this meme, but we just make fun of your terminology, just pretend that you like call mix-ups guessies because of
Okay, I didn't know that.
ditto. You say dittos instead of mirrors and
Right.
friendlies instead of casuals, right? All this kind of stuff.
Yeah. We just really want to be different than you guys.
Yeah.
I like that I feed into a stereotype where I'm so unaware of you guys making fun of us, I don't even know. I'm not even in on the joke.
Yeah.
I can't even banter. By the way, Deadly Poison with Captain Greenskin, that is a heck of a punch. Oh, just a straight up attack here. Okay. Just wants to push as much damage as possible, force Hunter to react.
But he does have a really great reaction here with the Unleash the Hounds. He's just suffering for health total right now.
Yeah,
And with SamuelTsao actually refusing to develop alongside this, the Unleash the Hounds actually got significantly weaker.
Right. But he does have Flanking Strike for something a little bit more proactive to develop too. And the thing, he has double Hound Master, so he has to find ways to be able to get these out of his hand. And then we also kind of factor in that Hunterace does have pressure tools. Unleash as a finisher with Kill Command on 8 mana could be what gets him there.
Right.
So if we assume that Hunterace is just going to be hitting the face with the bow, his opponent's at 14, Kill Command for 5 puts him at 9, and then Unleash the Hounds with some hero powers. They're still a little bit short unless your opponent somehow goes the widest board possible known to mankind and not kill you. So he's going to need like this Flanking Strike Wolf or Houndmaster to do something.
Respecting the 1-1. I really like the face hit there because you take away so much equity from your opponent from being able to attack into the 3-3 with the dagger.
Oh, Admirable's so mad right now. His eyebrows could not be higher up on his skull right now. And you look at SamuelTsao, and he's got very clear game plan. Captain Greenskin was put in the deck for more burst damage with things like Deadly Poison, the weapon, so you don't have to redagger. And instances like this where it's really good.
But does he want to take the 3? He can Vile Spine this as well and save himself the health if he wants to.
So let's say, so Captain Greenskin puts 10 damage to the weapon, 2 with the Southsea deckhand. Yeah, it's not enough. And then he's thinking on the opposite end, what's my opponent's punish?
Yeah. Because then if you can't kill Hunterace on your following turn, that means Hunterace has 2 entire turns to do 15 damage to you with a bow showing.
If he plays Captain Greenskin, pushes a little damage, Hunterace Houndmasters, he Vile Spines for the win there.
Okay.
I think that's what SamuelTsao is figuring out in his head. And unlike Hunterace, SamuelTsao recognized that he is the beatdown. No extra minion playing around Unleash the Hounds.
Freezing trap.
Oh, man.
He also just has Kill Command Houndmaster available, though. Just to take care of the Greenskin and make a huge board state himself and be pushing damage.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what mid-range Hunter wants to do. Houndmaster is often the turning point for how they push damage. They go from board control to often killing their opponent. And, you know, Captain Greenskin is not exactly the ideal minion to Freezing Trap either, by the way.
That is true.
Almost certainly wants to Houndmaster. The question is, what does he do afterwards? We're also definitely hitting the phase with this 5-5 Wolf, right? There's just no way we trade. Because then you're just dead to like a Leroy. Actually, you can trade and then plus Freezing Trap. And then if your opponent plays Leroy, it bounces back.
Oh. The damage goes through. And now, with Deckhand and Vilespine, that is still lethal. The Deckhand will hit the Freezing Trap.
Yes.
And then 5 and 5 connect for the 10 that SamuelTsao needs.
This definitely has blown up in Hunterace's face, and he looks
stressed. Like he knows it.
Yeah, I think he realized he made a big mistake here.
He needed more time. You saw the rope hit there, and he still hadn't decided on a play. The last 5 seconds of that rope burning, he picked up Kill Command, he put it back down, he picked up Freezing Trap, he put it back down, and then eventually the Freezing Trap came back out again. And now there he sees the Deckhand, and no, can Hunterace feel the second place curse creeping up on him again?
It's starting to become more than just a prophecy. It's becoming reality. SamuelTsao has made a Hearthstone career out of upsetting your favorite player.
The Rogue coming out now for Hunterace. Yeah, again, Diamoles just as far as the eye can see.
I mean, that's kind of what moles are, right? They're just always there. Like, can't really get rid of them.
Really?
They just tunnel underground?
You have just a serious mole infestation where you're from, Dan. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going with you on this one.
I don't know, man. I'm not very familiar with, you know, the mole society, so to speak. But
I thought you were going to, because I said moles as far as the eyes can see. Like, aren't moles blind? I realized that didn't actually make much sense as it came out of my mouth. I thought that's what you were going to pick up on, but...
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Moles are blind.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. Today I learned. I did not get an A in biology, Subtle, in case you were wondering. I know that you were about to ask that.
I was dying to know, actually.
I got a very subpar B, much to the chagrin of my parents.
SamuelTsao, with these even decks, it's always a debate. Do you want to hold your coin, or do you want to go 2 into 2? What does your curve look like for the opening turns? SamuelTsao decides it's just going to be a totem pass for now. And these 0-2s are just food for Odd Rogue in this matchup. They can push through these 0-2s for as long as you're willing to press them.
Well, you know, with Hunterace's hand, he has an opportunity to also just be aggressive any opening that he sees.
Has Hunterace just shut down? Do we need to plug him in? Oh no, he's okay. He's okay. He's okay. The eyes are flickering. I thought
low battery though.
Yeah, I thought Hearthstone bot had entered sleep mode for a second, but no, he's up and running.
Yeah, I mean, if he plays double one here of some kind, he's trying to. Okay, Cold Blood as well. I mean, there's not many punishes here.
And then he hides all of this behind a Tar Creeper on the following turn as well.
Juicy.
SamuelTsao almost with a nod of like recognition. Like, yeah, all right, this sucks for me. Well played.
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite things to do with Rogue, because I really love playing Miracle Rogue, is Firefight Coin Firefly. This is just like the next level of that. It's just like a Dire Mole coin, like a Cold Blood Dire Mole. It's crazy. And now, Hunterace can just play forward control for a little bit and then just start hitting face.
And so I kind of made fun of Hunterace being, head down, deep in thought there at the start of the game. But actually, you need to commend him on this because he was right on the verge of tilt after that last game. You could see it, right? Yeah. The emotions, the body language, everything was there. 30 seconds to a minute break, and you can see he's zoned right back in, and he's found a fantastic opening line here as the Rogue in this matchup against SamuelTsao.
And then in SamuelTsao's camp, what's the out? What can he really do? Corpse Taker? only kind of stalls. It doesn't really do much. And then Coin Hex kind of gives your opponent the ability to develop things like Vicious Fledgling, like the Henge Clan Thug that you're also super afraid of. It's almost like a lose-lose situation for Samuel. He can run into so many bad things on both ends of whatever play he chooses here.
That's the beauty of the play the Hunterace made. There just wasn't really clean answers to it. You look even at things like Merc Spark Eel on SamuelTsAo's turn 2. Just did nothing into the line that Hunterace took.
So the thing with the Corpse Takers, it should force Hunterace off of the ideal 3-mana play.
Yeah, probably Deckhand has to be committed to.
Doesn't have to lose a deckhand. He can choose to use the Dire Mold to trade into instead, keeping a little bit more power on the board.
Yeah. It's just, do you want to preserve health on your Tark Reaper, or do you want to have an extra deckhand in play?
Even holding the deckhand has merit because you have Vile Spine Slayer.
That's true, yeah. You're not wrong.
The extra damage isn't exactly relevant right now, but you did commit Cold Blow, which kind of implies that you want to be aggressive. So, you know, it's definitely a lot going through Hunterace's mind, so much so that he's secluded a portion of his face away from the camera, tucked it into his old jacket. I just feel stressed watching Hunterace play right now.
He's going to take the value trade route. Extra minion in play, and I think what this does first and foremost is it just gives him a bit of a stronger board against the Hex that might come out. Means he has that extra minion with the deckhand that's just already pushing away.
Yeah, it also sets up for a really good opportunity with Fungal Mancer if he draws it off the top. This is something that I see Amnesiac do very often, which is, sure, doesn't have it in his hand, but he sets, if he can set up for the best possible case scenario, he might just win from that spot.
Right. And there you see it. Forced to Hex his 1-drop because of that Cold Blood threat. And if we don't see the Fungal Mancer picked up here, which we don't, Hunterace is just the smile. The smile comes out. Hunterace will tell you he was just baiting. He was just baiting, chat.
Yeah.
He was in full control at all times.
Just a prank, bro. Got you. So what can Samuel do? This just looks like a pummeling very similar to the first game of the series. Okay. That's, in the words of our beloved streamer from Hong Kong, that is a card. The Fire Plume Phoenix doesn't really do much except take a little bit of damage off the board.
Yeah.
So what you could do is layer your Fire Plume Phoenix and your Fire Elemental to kill the Henge Clan Thug over 2 turns.
That's true. You do take an enormous beating from the rest of the board anyway that way, though. It's not like you really reduce the damage too much.
Yeah. It could be that he just wants to go as wide as possible, utilize Fire Elemental. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh. 4 plus 5 plus 1 is 12. So 12 damage.
A little surprised to see the Deadly Poison coming down here, unless he's swinging at a face. Because that is potentially his Valspine activator, unless he's going to Valspine now, which I guess he is.
I think he just wants to press in for damage. He's got 12 this turn if he just goes all phase. Probably will trade into the Direwolf Alpha. Okay, Sam is not going to even wait. This is quite possibly the most polite series for a Grand Finals that you have ever seen in Hearthstone, where neither player wants to waste each other's times or the viewers.
That picture just said, oh, it's just dawned on me, Frodan, that might be the last time I hear that riff leading me into a game of Hearthstone.
No, don't say it.
I'm just back into tavern music all the way down from here on out.
We have mouths. We have fingers that can type. If you guys are listening, again, I implore you to tweet at HS Esports, tweet at Esports Lokazi, Drew Higby, and let them know that we need some of that epic
At
Korean
Chase
intro.
Space, get them all in there.
Chase Space, at Ben Drago, at Alex Charsky. I think a lot of people in chat who casually follow the team probably have no idea who we're talking about, but they are the,
It's like, wait,
the
who are
people
they?
who
Who are
run
these
HCT.
people? Just typing words into Twitter.
They're like,
Can't spell any of those names.
Prodan, it's not cool to dox Blizzard employees.
This Hunter deck, for the first time now,
Hey.
for Hunterace, has just let him down a little bit so far this series. He hasn't been able to get over the line with it just yet, but he has been missing that key card, the Deathstalker Rexar. I hated this card before the most recent expansion.
Wow.
Dumped.
I felt that.
Oh, I truly did. For some reason, in a world where everyone is obsessed with HS Replay currently, right, and were in the previous expansion as well, everyone kept putting Deathstalker Rexar into every Hunter deck, despite, if you looked up the stats, it was the lowest win rate card in all of those decks. And it kept going in there,
So,
over and over again.
I need to stop you right there. This might shock you,
Yeah.
Sato, but some people play Hearthstone for fun. And
What?
It's a word that I know doesn't really exist much in the British vocabulary dictionary, but Deathstalker Rexar is fun. And I think a lot of people love this card. It's one of my favorite cards, quite possibly my favorite card from Knights of the Frozen Throne off the top of my head. And the fact that they update it with more recent beasts is just so good. Like, thank goodness that they changed that. Because at first they weren't going to update the beast pool. It was just going to stay static. And then Deathstalker Rexar would have just been a lot worse. But thankfully they did so. And now, is it one of the worst win rate cards? Do you know?
Since the new beast came in and the new expansion introduced so many more rush mechanics and other lifesteal options. That's, as I said, I used to hate this card in Hunter. Now I am fully converted. It's super powerful. It digs you out of so many situations that you can't get out of otherwise, and I think it's essential in basically any build of the deck now.
Yeah, it's also, carried a lot of those other Hunter builds that, are very dependent on specific strategies that don't go through. Spell Hunter, for example, don't get the spell stones. Like, how do you win? Oh, I can have Deathstalker Rexar.
Yeah, right.
And that's what we love to see. And another thing, too, that I appreciate as SamuelTsao gets that taunt totem, which is pretty annoying for the bow for Hunterace, is that Deathstalker Rexar also introduces something that we don't really talk about very often, is that it introduces playstyles. You see so many people disagree when they're watching a Deathstalker Rexar repeated zombies chain, because there's so many decisions you can make. There's 6 choices presented every single time you hero power.
Right.
And I love seeing that. You get to see opinions like, okay, am I taking more of a risk by taking the better beast, or do I go cheap because I really need a better option in my second choice? Really cool stuff. And then there's, angry chickens.
Yeah. Well, goes with the 2 health Direwolf here over the 3 health Flame Tongue, which could just get him into a mess with this explosive trap in Hunterace's hand right now. Does have the Earthen Might to SamuelTsao to punch back against this, get a little bit of purchase against that explosive trap, but it's still going to represent a lot of value for Hunterace. And if SamuelTsao just stalls out, Hunterace has the ability to start picking the board apart with flanking strikes and so on, and then he's just buying time until that Deathstalker Rexar.
Yeah, and I can't really find a more opportune time to do this, too, because it stunts development, and it also gives you repeated weapon swings, which seems to be a big problem, because Hunterace does not want even Shaman to load up the board. So I think that just lines up really nicely here. And, of course, on SamuelTsao's end, that's where cards like Earthen Might are going to come to play.
And there he comes.
So, over in SamuelTsao's land here, he picks up Mercspark Eel. The question has become, what secret is he going to have to play around? Freezing Trap, Venom Strike Trap, Wandering Monster, Explosive Trap, all introducing really complicated scenarios.
SamuelTsao will also have Spellstone in mind now. Anytime you see a Hunter player play Secret off curve like this, you also start to think, okay, he really wants to buff a Spellstone if that's his 3-mana play here. So now he's really thinking about his opportunities loading up against this. But yeah, as you mentioned, the attack or no attack dilemma is pretty strong right now for SamuelTsao in the face of this Secret.
Yeah, one possibility that he can explore is perhaps loading the board, waiting for opponent to do a little bit something, and then have Sea Giant come down to try and launch his offensive. Oh! Hunterace is amped. Look at him react to that attack. And SamuelTsao gets the taunt totem anyways. But, I mean, that's where the flanking strike, or perhaps Hunterace wants to develop a little bit more proactively with Animal Companion having higher upside than just a 3-3 Wolf.
Was that the moment? Did Hunterace just feel it? SamuelTsao, do you know what? I respect that play, because my criticism of SamuelTsao up until this point in this tournament is that he has not been taking risks.
Yes.
And that was a risk, and he took it, and I will never fault a man for that.
It's a gut check, too. You know, when everything is on the line, when you're staring down a Game 5 finals or the last game of any series that you play, you really get to see what kind of player you are when you're introduced with a risk, you know, a fork in the path, so to speak.
I'm smacking this Stoneclaw totem every single time, by the way. Hunterace does not do anything quickly when the stakes are this high. He is going to make sure he calculates every single opportunity, and he might think of something that I don't, but my instincts tell me that there is no reason why you don't hit this 0-2.
Discount Sea Giant prevents board leverage tools.
Oh my god. I don't know anything about this game, Dan.
I think we just don't know Hunterace's line of thought. And, you know, sadly enough, you know, Hunterace is also still kind of new to this traveling thing. So whenever I try to talk to him about his plays or, like, talk to him about stuff, he's very shy and reserved, probably because he's not very familiar with me. So I still have to wait for time to get used to it. But generally, I do find fairly often Hunterace just doing something different than what I thought he was going to do. Yep. That seems to be one of the most trademark things and why he's really exciting to watch.
Scalehide Urban Light here makes a mess of this 3-3. And now, because Hunterace didn't swing the bow at that 0-2 last turn, he can't swing it at the Scalehide this turn. Which means it just gets to stick around and contest anything that he plays. I don't understand, Dan.
I don't either. But one thing I do understand is that Dire Maul pickup gives Hunterace yet another opportunity to play this turn differently. He has Dire Maul Houndmaster. He has Animal Companion development with secrets, or I can just straight up remove stuff with bow. And I think I kind of like anything that stops my opponent from Fire Elemental swinging the board.
Sure.
So Dire Maul Houndmaster might look good on paper, just that if your opponent Fire Elemental
very juicy 4-3 on the board, then
So that makes me lean away from it. But then Animal Companion is not much better in that regard, because if you get, you know, Huffer, you get blown out a little worse because you don't have a minion to stick up after the board.
Yeah, at least with Huffer you do get to kill the 3-2 with your bow, though.
Okay, that's true.
So the swing back with the Fire Elemental is not quite as devastating.
Yeah, but then what if you get, like, Leok?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
yeah, that feels bad.
I think the outcomes of Animal Companion are too volatile. Sea Giant is online this turn if possible. Or, sorry, rather, it is possible for SamuelTsao to put it up this turn.
By the way, if Hunterace had killed the Stoneclaw totem on the previous turn, this turn he kills the Scalehide, that Sea Giant costs 7. Not to mention, he has a 4-3 and a 3-5 versus 0 power in play.
Yes. That's the big thing on my mind. I really want to play Sea Giant. But looks like SamuelTsao with the trade first wants to just address the state of the board. And also, to be quite fair, Corpse Taker is pretty nasty in this spot.
Yeah.
It just challenges so well, both the bow and the Houndmaster. And there's not many ways for Houndmaster to do much with its stat line. However, Deathstalker XR can really flex here. It looks so good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
The follow-up as well. 7 mana, he gets the Spellstone play.
Yeah.
Deathstalker XR pops the shield, bow goes through, value trade the Houndmaster.
The only other play that I think I like is Animal Companion Kill Command, but that's just worse. And you're not even like threatening the Shaman's life total, so it's not like your hero power is super important. The Hunter hero power scales so well because each time you use it, you deal more percentage of their life. Deathstalker Rex are about to hit the board, and it could be the beginning of the end of the series and this tournament. SamuelTsao unhappy, to say the least. And that Sea Giant, once again, will be stranded. SamuelTsao needs to answer hero for hero. Where is his Hagatha?
Nowhere to be found, and that's a really weak draw. It's 1 minion plus a totem, or 1 card plus a totem at least. Choose to get the 2 bodies in play with the Saranite Chain Gang if he wants to.
Yeah, but it doesn't die to the Houndmaster. It also is mana efficient, which might become the case here. We've seen a lot of even Shams run into mana issues with getting a lot of the 6-cost cards and clogging up their hand space.
That is true, yeah. Saiyan in particular, I think, ran into that on a couple of occasions. Saranite, though, it stops a value trade. Like, the Houndmaster can just take care of a totem here if you play, again, Greymane.
True.
And you're not really, like, making any progress towards the Sea Giant at that point. You need to start consolidating a board presence, or you're just sat with this very dead card in your hand. I don't know, honestly. This is very close from my perspective for SamuelTsao. I would still be thinking about this play at this point. Does choose to go Chain Gang, though.
The trade puts the minion count at 2, which means Sea Giant's 8. So in the worst case scenario, you still can play Sea Giant next turn.
Right.
So I think that's what maybe tilted over the edge. Oh, wait. Guess what? Sea Giant costs a lot cheaper. Second Sea Giant, perhaps? And the Wandering Monster, again. Another mystery here for SamuelTsao, introducing quite the roadblock for him to get anything going this game.
Yep. So Fire Plume plus Sea Giant is a possibility this turn, but it's still not a great looking play.
I think Hunterace feels like he may have already won. Just it feels like before he was locked in, laser focused, and now he's moving around, talking to himself, kind of stretching.
What's in the box? Oh! The king is in the box.
Yeah, you thought you were getting bananas, but King Mukla makes a cameo appearance, and SamuelTsao can barely see light at the end of the tunnel here. Nothing he does will impact the state of the board right now. Fire Plume Phoenix to the face.
He just needs a 3-3 in play. He could just play it alongside the Sea Giant, decides he might as well send the damage to the face if he's going to do so.
SamuelTsao also forgot a hero power.
Oh, you're right. It's always free with the Sea Giant in this deck.
It's always free, not just the first one. Hunterace taps the button. I like anything that has stats that you can play this turn. And honestly, even if you don't have, even if you can't play it this turn, you can still play Bear Shark, Animal Companion. And you know, we can't be very quick to call it too, because we have seen Hagatha swing boards. That's probably
true.
the last remaining hope for SamuelTsao. He needs his hero card to answer his opponent's hero card.
I don't know what Hunterace picked up off the first option, but that Poisonous Rush to be able to take care of an 8/8 here would be very appealing to me. It's like he took Hungry Crab, so it was available for him. It would have taken all of his mana to play it, but no, he's just going to take straight Poisonous with the Emperor Cobra instead. Just load up a 3/5 and take care of the board position the old-fashioned way.
Not a bad draw. Let's. Oh, he doesn't have 10 mana. Ugh. In that case, awkward draw.
Yep.
Winter is here.
Hunterace is so close. Eaglehorn Bow. Hero power again. And every single hero power and sticks of zombies on the board. Hunterace's percentages skyrocket through the roof. Giant Shield's fantastic. +1/+1's great. Wind Fury is also nice too, considering that you can combine it with the Eagle Hornbow to clear everything.
Hunterace even considering if he wants or needs to track this turn, whether there are any options that he really needs to pick up compared to the possible options that he can track over.
Houndmaster's good.
Decides to go for it. Yeah, Houndmaster picked up. Eagle Hornbow is just a natural play from here. And now Hunterace can just grind him out slowly but surely.
Yeah, a lot of people might be wondering why Hunterace is taking a long time when it feels like there's a lot of inevitability, but he is hedging against stuff like this. 3 damage is the breakpoint for Fire Elemental, for Hagatha, and he's trying meticulously to prevent his board from ever losing control and potentially being locked out of the game.
Yeah, as long as that poisonous minion is there, SamuelTsao can't stick a Lich King, whatever else it is that he draws to be able to try and get back onto this board. And so he just wants that poisonous minion healthy. And you can see if he'd have taken the value trade there, the punish was ready and apparent off the top from SamuelTsao. The Fire Ellie just has to take a Divine Shield instead.
Yeah, but Hunterace has kill command. Or does he want to play board control for so long? It feels like at some point, when Deathstalker Rexar can stick minions onto the board and start pushing damage, that's when the game feels like it's pretty much decided, because they can always put out big threat after big threat.
Sure.
And looks like maybe Hunterace is starting to see that exact opportunity.
Kill command with the last 3, yeah. No beast required this turn. We are not going to find out what's in the box on Hunterace's turn 10. He is just going to load up on damage, push everything downtown. 17 health remaining, 17 in play, not even counting the bow. And Hunterace, 2nd place in Germany, 2nd place in Toronto, 3rd time's the charm for perhaps the very best player in the world right now. He finally has his tour stop victory under his belt.